Hello, I'm Archie Luxury and welcome to the program. I'd like to continue the series dealing with these younger whippersnappers. Advice for younger viewers. These are viewers under 30. And I'll start up with an email I got from Lewis. Dear Archie, I must start off saying I'm a huge fan, unlike all the scowls who like to post useless, condescending comments on your videos. I find to agree with what you have to say and I find your advice to be on point. What has me emailing you after watching almost all of your videos is the one you posted with the Rolex Air King. I should say a bit about myself. My name is Lewis and I'm 27 years old and I've always loved luxury watches ever since I was a young buck. My first watch was given to me by my grandfather when I made my confirmation. It is his vintage 18K gold Longines 5-star Admiral. I've since taken off the gold bracelet and replaced it with a nice brown leather strap. A few years ago, I added an Omega Seamaster James Bond limited edition piece. Although I know you're not a fan of Seamaster wearers, please know that I have my fair share of fine brands, and unlike the idiots who think your Patek is a generic Swiss brand, I would have known what you were wearing. A year ago, I bought an Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean 45mm because I want a bigger sports watch, and I'm a big Omega fan. My next Omega that I want to purchase is one of your personal favorites, the Man on the Moon watch. I like your opinion, as I am looking to add my first Rolex to my collection, and I'm wondering what models you'd recommend, as well as if you want, as you might also be the seller of my first Rolex. All I know is that I definitely don't want a Submariner. Too many out there, and they are wore out. Plus, I don't want something that looks like my Omega. Personally, I have been interested in the Datejust too. Well, let me know what you think or what you can offer. I want to make this purchase around November or December of this year. That's right, after my season ends, as I'm a high school football coach in New York, and I hope that this purchase coincides with a championship for my team. Well, I hope to hear from you soon. Sincerely, Lewis. Thanks, Lewis. It's always cool to get an email from a fan of the show, especially one who has watched all of my videos. And I gotta say, that's quite interesting. You're quite a young chap there, and that sounds like you got a bit of a collection happening. So let's just have a little bit of a look at it. Okay. Now you say that your first watch was your grandfather gave you a Longines 5-star Admiral in 18K. Now I gotta fucking say this. That is a fucking super duper fucking Longines. That's when Longines was a real fucking watch. I mean, this new Longines that you see in the store here, they've basically just got it's a marketing firm who puts together a design of a watch with an ETA movement, and fuck it, that's it, that's all they do. So it's really nothing like the old Longines. That 5-star Admiral, that's a fucking piece that was competing with Omega Constellations and Rolexes at the time, and they were a fucking beautiful piece. If you've got the original, now when you say you took the gold bracelet off, do you mean the original Longines bracelet? Because if you do have that, they're worth a lot of money with the piece. So don't ever scrap it or get rid of it. That's a very valuable bracelet. But putting it on a leather strap, that's a great idea. They look beautiful. Absolute cracker of a piece. Then you say that a few years ago you added an Omega Seamaster James Bond limited edition. Look, I gotta be honest, you know, I'm a big critic of the Seamaster. And, you know, I said they were shit, and I said all sorts of things. But, I mean, that's part of my shtick, you know. I'm a comedian, you know. I'm an entertainer, Archie. I mean, I got to get that fucking Google Ads revenue in, for fuck's sake. But I got to say this. Not so long ago, I had an Omega Seamaster, the James Bond edition. And it was in quartz. And I got to tell you, fuck, it was a nice watch. It was a really, really cool watch. I mean, I showed my wife, and you know, my wife she's got a Patek 24, she's got Rolexes, she's had solid gold 18K Cartiers, she had a solid gold Rolex Ladies President, And I showed her, she's seen all my watches that I've, fucking Holy Trinity, all that stuff. And she actually really liked the Omega. And I got to say this, that James Bond Omega there, yeah, it's a bit kish with 007 on the hands. But I wouldn't sell it, Lewis. You're a young guy. You can pull that off, okay? You also say that you're a coach. You're a football coach. So I think you could, with your bravado and that there, you can pull that off. So I'm going to make an exception just for you on that model. You're allowed to wear that. So I know it's only got a generic movement in it. The movement's not great, but it's okay. It's okay. So keep that. That I don't mind that piece. I think in your case there, you're young. That's fine. You can pull it off. Then you bought an Omega Planet Ocean, 45mm. Now that's a huge fucker of a piece. Again, I'm not a huge Omega generic movement sort of fan. I kind of. Yeah, but you're a fucking football coach, big and huge. It's like you gotta have the Mustang to go with all this. You know what I mean? You're a football coach. You gotta. Yeah, that's okay. Planet Ocean. That's not actually. I'll be honest with you. The Planet Ocean is one of the better looking diving watches that are out there. Besides going Rolex, the Planet Ocean is actually quite a nice looking fucker, and I certainly if it wasn't for the fact that it hasn't got a better movement in it, I'd almost get one myself. They're cool. I reckon that's a great thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But look, Lewis, the thing I've got to tell you is you must pull your collection together by getting. You gotta get the Omega Speedmaster Professional, because those other ones, the James Bond, it's a bit kish. The Planet Ocean, it's just a generic movement. It's not. But if you want to be an Omega fan, you really have to get the Omega Speedmaster Professional, Man on the Moon. So now they've got to understand something. Omega has the Speedmaster, which is the automatic one. It's got a date. That's no good. That slightly smaller case, it's no good because it's not the Man on the Moon. You got to get the Man on the Moon, because I think with your other two Omegas, that'll kind of pull it in as being an Omega fan. You can pass that shit off by having the Omega Speedmaster Man on the Moon. And I got to tell you, Lewis, I've just taken delivery of a really mint one, and I paid about the $2,100 mark. That's Aussie and US dollars are about the same. So, and I've got another one coming. I'm selling for a mate of mine, and it's around about the 2,200, and it's only about 4 or 5 years old. So there are some great buys. Get pre-owned. I'm happy to help you out if you need a hand there. But an Omega Speedmaster Man on the Moon, that'll pull those other Omegas together and make it quite an acceptable collection. And I got to say, you've got the Longines 5-Star Admiral. That's a great dress watch. That's a fucking fantastic dress watch. Look, you don't need to have a Patek, and not everyone needs to have a Patek. I mean, you got to remember, I'm fucking 40. Look at my photo. I'm 40 and overweight. I mean, fuck. I'd gladly swap all my luxury shit to be 27 again. And have no luxury shit. I can tell you that I would swap in a fucking instant. So just don't panic too much about getting a Patek. Patek's a great thing, but they're not the easiest thing. They're not as, I tell you honestly, they're not as heavy duty as an Omega. I mean, Omega is a much more, a steel Omega. That's a much more heavy duty thing than a Patek. Even the sports Pateks are a bit delicate. But, I'd definitely get the Omega Speedmaster Man on the Moon. It'll pull your collection together beautifully. And, look, getting your first Rolex. I got to say this to you. I'd personally, Datejust 2, look, I'd be inclined, I'm more of a second-hand buyer. I got to get bang per buck with Archie, because I can't pay retail, and I got to, I just can't do that. So, I'd personally... You want a bigger watch. It sounds, because you're a football coach. You got the jocks to take care of, and you got, fuck, what a life you must have there. You probably got an ex-cheerleader as a girlfriend or a wife. What a fucking life. Fuck! I'll swap you all my luxury goods, if I can go back, we can swap lives. What do you reckon, Lewis? But I got to say this. You want to get a Rolex? I'd be inclined to be getting a no-date sub or an Explorer 2. Explorer 2, like from the 90s, mid-90s, they're great bang per buck on the second-hand market. You'll probably pay a lot less for one of those than a Datejust 2. But I got to say, Datejust 2 is cool. They're a nice piece. They're a bit... I think they're a bit too expensive still. They're holding their own a bit. I look for bang per buck. I'd be looking, if I was you, I'd get an Explorer 2 because it gives you another function that your Omegas don't have. You've sort of got the Omegas covered for water use, so stay away from Rolex for water use. But I'd be getting an Explorer 2 that gives you GMT function, and you got a chronograph in the Omega Speedmaster Man on the moon, so you got all your bases covered, and you got the Longines for graduation day. And yeah, that's what I'd do. So I'd be looking at second-hand Explorer 2s with a black dial. I think that'd suit you to a T. I'm Archie Luxury. Tell me what you think.